You have time to actually work on the business. And I will tell you, it's pretty ugly when you open up the hood when you haven't checked the oil in 10 years. But how powerful that is when you actually have 4 or 5 days a week to work on the business instead of in it.
So the question is this: how do most agents find the secrets to succeed in today's competitive real estate market, especially when the top agents are keeping those secrets to themselves? That's the question, and this podcast will give you the answer. Hi, I'm Aaron Amuchastegui, and welcome to Real Estate Rockstars.
Okay, Rockstar Nation, we have a cool guest today. I got Clayton Gits on the phone. Now, Clayton was on the podcast before, but a lot has changed in the year plus since I've talked to him. He's gone from working 7 days a week as of his last call to 2 days a week. And when I found out about this, I was like, I need to get Clayton back on. We need to catch up, find out how he's gone from 7 days to 2 days a week and what he's doing, what his production is doing, what his profit is doing, and what is everything doing. So without further ado, Clayton, welcome to Pat Hiban Interviews Real Estate Rockstars.
Thanks, Pat. Hey, really appreciate what you're doing, man. And I just have to say that, you know, it's these types of listening to other people that you interview is game-changing stuff. And, trying to recreate the wheel, I think we've all been there, it's just not necessary when you have access to people like you and what you're doing. So I just want to say thank you for spending some time with me today.
Hey, my pleasure. Why don't you catch everybody up to speed, Clayton? Tell everybody about yourself, kind of introduce yourself to our audience.
Yeah, so Clayton Gits. I'm with Keller Williams Realty in Richmond, Virginia. I have 2 beautiful little girls, Sophia and Samantha. Have married to my best friend, love of my life, Stephanie, and have a team of 12 people now. And you kind of teetering between 6th and 7th level in my business. So most of my time now is just spent on hiring, recruiting, training, leading, developing, motivating. So that's where I am today.
Okay. So how many units will you do this year?
235.
Okay. And how many did you do, say, a year ago?
200.
Okay. And you worked 7 days a week. You're down to 2. How has your gross commissions changed? How has your profit margin changed?
So yeah, that's the cool thing. So we are more profitable this year than we were last year. We are, and this may be hard to believe, but we're hovering right around 40% profit, net profit. So that's the cool thing with not being in the business. And now our average price per sale went up significantly. We went from $250 to about $300.
Nice.
So that made a big difference, of course. But that aside, Pat, it is the leverage and being able to, you always hear people talk about, one of my favorite books is Cash Flow Quadrant, Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So, you always hear people talking about having money working for them instead of, living that 7th level. And it used to be this unicorn that I just it's a limiting beliefs, right? I didn't think was attainable. But just through spending time with people that were doing it and frankly having a coach that did it and told me that it was okay to do it, it's really how simple it was, helped me break through those limiting beliefs, and I continue to do that.
Wow, that's amazing. So, okay, so 235 units, 300, so you're pulling in what, like 700,000 gross, something like that?
It's about 800.
800, okay. So 800, and you're keeping 40, so you're at 325 or so net profit?
Net profit is closer to 450, actually.
Okay. Okay. So your gross is higher then.
So gross commission income?
Yeah.
Yeah, GCI is closer to 1.6, 1.7.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I misunderstood.
No, that's all right. I probably I miscalculated commissions. So
yeah, so after tax, net profit is closer to 500,000.
Got it. Okay, so to make $500,000 and to work 2 days a week is a pretty good gig. How is your team set up currently so that you can do that?
A listing manager that just takes listings from start to finish. I have a transaction manager that just works on the buying side. So she takes those transactions from contract to close. I have 2 listing partners, 6 full-time buyer agents, 5, soon to be 6. I have a director of operations that is more in charge of implementation and just managing the administrative side of things. Sales manager on the buyer agent side, and my lead listing manager manages the listing department.
Okay. And so, let's start with your listing agents. What's their commission split?
25%.
25% to them, 75% to the company. And what do they have to do?
Lead generate for 3 hours a day. Yeah. So a lot of our lead generation, Pat, is lead follow-up, but they're required. So we actually just had this conversation this morning. So Philip is required to go on 5 listings to hit his numbers. He has to go on. He needs to take 123 listings in 2016.
Wow. Okay.
Tamara has to take 167 listings in 2016 to hit our numbers. So we have a goal of 100 million. A lot of our lead generation is lead follow-up because we attract a lot of business, specifically a lot of listings through radio and television.
Yes. So, okay. So you pay for the radio and TV ads. People call in. The calls go to who?
They go. It depends. If it's a buyer lead, then it will go to my sales manager.
Okay.
If it is a listing lead, then it goes directly to Tamara, my lead listing specialist.
Okay, and then she decides, hey, I'm going to go on this listing appointment, or I'm going to give it to the other person.
Correct.
And how does she decide whether she's going to keep it for herself or give it to the other person?
Well, so right now it is frankly it's her discretion, 100%. What we are implementing is a system where if Tamara is busy, so her phone is going to ring when that lead comes in. And if she is busy and can't accept that lead, then it will automatically go to Philip, who is another one of our listing partners. If he is tied up, then it will automatically go to my director of operations, and she can choose to do with it from there. Same thing on the buying side. That lead will have to filter through 7 agents to not be answered, within minutes of that lead coming in.
Okay, but at that point, it's a message, right? It obviously is not going to ring 28 times, 4 times 7, right? It rings 4 times, it goes in the message, and then everybody gets the message?
No, the lead, it could be as simple as an internet lead, somebody that just registered on a Boomtown or Commissions Inc. or whatever platform. So when that email comes in, this system will read that email, and as long as the number is real, so it will read the number, it will call the agent on duty. That agent will know that lead is coming from, that it's a lead, because it'll say that on their caller ID. So they have the option of picking up, and it will say you have a Zillow lead. It's computer generated, Pat, looking to purchase in area 10, up to 300,000. Do you want to accept this lead? If you press 1, then it automatically dials that lead, and it records the conversation.
Whoa. Okay, so what system is this you're using?
Lead Simple.
Lead Simple. So I'm
LeadSimple.com.
Real Estate Rockstars, this is Aaron Amuchastegui for a quick commercial break. So during 2020 and 2021, the real estate market completely changed. There's so much competition in the market, so many people trying to buy and sell houses, but there's hardly any supply, hardly any product, hardly anyone willing to list their homes. It's time for every agent out there to become a hybrid agent investor, to be able to reach out directly to homeowners to try to get them to sell or list their house. We've got a new website. Go to leadpropeller.com and you can set up your own investor buyer website in just minutes. You'll set up your own URL, set up phone numbers, help go through the leads, help reach out to people that aren't listing their property currently, and have them fill out a form that says, hey, I want to sell my house. And then as an agent, you can go through and make them a hybrid offer. You can tell them, hey, I think your house would sell for $220,000 on MLS, but I can either write you a $180,000 cash offer right now, or I can help you fix it up and you'll list it for $220,000 on MLS. These are buyers that are looking for quick cash offers. Tens of thousands are submitting these forms every single day, and they're skipping the listing process. But so many of you guys out there are such good agents, it's a great opportunity to get that lead and help them maximize sales price for their home. So again, go to leadpropeller.com and think about signing up for your own investor site so buyers will start reaching out to you, asking you to make an offer on their home.
So I'm going to get the information. We're going to post it on the show notes of Clayton's episode. If you just go to hibandigital.com/Clayton and the number 2, it'll all be there. Yeah, that sounds amazing. And then for 25%, they go out, they close the deal, they get the listing. Do they negotiate the contract when an offer comes in?
Yes.
And you have somebody else processing all the paperwork and stuff once it's sold?
Yes. And
then buyer agents, what do you pay them?
60-40, up to 50-50. We don't go above 50-50, period. That's our, I believe in what Gary Keller says about breaking that threshold. So 60-40 to start. It can go as high as 50-50, but that's it.
So you get 60, they get 40.
Yes.
Okay. And even if the lead is their mom, they still getting 40.
That depends. So for my seasoned agents, it's 50-50. For everybody that starts with me, it's 55-45 my way, regardless of where the lead comes from.
Okay. All right. Cool. And then do you have couriers that are running around, putting on lock boxes, taking pictures, doing all that stuff? Or do your listing in-house people also do stuff outside?
No, they don't do. I have a runner, I have a full-time runner.
Okay.
And then we just use professional photographers. So he's not photographing the property. He's just signs, lock boxes, pre-listing material, anything that we need him to do, he'll do. He's amazing.
Okay. And so 3 hours a day, all your people are calling 3 hours a day. Who are they calling? What are they saying? That sort of thing.
Yeah, so the buyer agents, it's a lot of boomtown, a lot of sphere of influence. And on the seller side, it's a lot of sphere of influence. We are getting into expireds and FSBOs. I will tell you that has not been something I have done in the past, but it is something that we're going to hit our numbers. It looks like we're going to have to go down that road in 2016. And a lot of radio and a lot of TV.
Now, do you see more of those popping up, by the way? I'm just trying to get an idea of what's the market like in Richmond, Virginia. Do you see more FSBOs, or do you see more expireds?
Yeah, both. And I think part of that is time of year, and the market was really hot in Richmond earlier this year. It has slowed down quite a bit. I think, Pat, that we are on the verge of a cooling down period, which will be great for us, because that means if it cools down significantly, then we'll lose some competition, and we'll just be in better position to get our unfair share.
Why do you think that?
Well, that's a loaded question. Just because I know a little more than, I guess, the average person in terms of what is going on from a macroeconomic standpoint. So I know what the real unemployment numbers are. I know that our economy is a little sicker than we've been led to believe. So Pat, you can't manipulate interest rates for 10 plus years and expect to come out on the other side unscathed. It's exactly what we did to lead up to the 2005, 2008 collapse, inviting all of this risky borrowing, not only on a government level, but on an individual level. So Americans are carrying as much, if not more, debt than they have in a long time. So are global governments. So are corporations, because money has been so cheap. So you invite all that risk into the marketplace. At some point, it has to reset. So I don't know if that's going to be next year or the year after. But all that being said, massive opportunity comes in those, right? More millionaires are born in a bust than in a boom. So we're looking forward to a reset. Frankly, I look forward to the day where governments back away from interest rates, market manipulation, so that we can have more of a normal market, because we haven't had that in quite some time. We're just creating bubbles, booms, and busts.
It is weird how the debt numbers, where you expect them to have settled, have grown as they have the last couple of years. Last night, I went to buy a Jeep. My wife and I have a second home now, and I was like, man, we need a Jeep, right? It's in South Carolina, and it rains. It's been raining a lot, and it's flooding and all this stuff. So we need to go buy a Jeep. So we went and bought a Jeep, and I was just going to pay cash for it. And the finance lady comes into the salesman's office, and she starts talking to me about financing, and she begged me to borrow money. And I said, you know what, maybe I'll just put like 10 grand down and I'll borrow the rest. I don't like having a lot of debt. She's like, well, why would you? You can get a 1.9% interest rate, and it's simple interest, and da-da-da-da-da-da. To make a long story short, I ended up borrowing 100% of this cost of this Jeep, and I didn't intend to. So my answer was no. She turned it into a yes through persuasion. And I think that's what's kind of a reflection of what's going on out there, is that there's a lot of lending.
That is exactly what is happening out there. But Pat, you're the exception, right? Because you can afford to stroke a check and pay that thing off. Most Americans cannot. So they're stacking up more and more debt. And when we have a reset, when their job is either outsourced or displaced, and they can't afford that loan that they took out, even if it's at a low payment, but they're not just buying a Jeep, right? They're being talked into buying Jeeps and furniture and da. So the bottom line, you can't carry. So Pat, what happens, and we're going down a rabbit hole here, but what happens when a country has $130 trillion, and that's anybody's guess if it's significantly bigger than that, but at least, and liabilities that they can't perform, or they can't pay. What happens? Because those are the actual numbers from the government, the BLS, in unfunded liabilities. What happens with this $20+ trillion in national debt when we have to, at some point, when we have to, because it can't go on forever, can it? And what does that mean to our industry as a whole? So that's why debt that's why I'm so passionate about debt. So, and I'm glad you brought up that example, Pat, because we have to take the lead on not letting. Brian Buffini used to have this incredible example of when he walked into a dealership, he wanted to buy a new Suburban, he wanted to pay cash. Same scenario. This was pre-2005, and he said the saleswoman was amazing, and she actually started talking him into not paying cash, and he basically told her to stop talking because he was going to lose the battle. So anyway, that was a rabbit hole.
So that's interesting. So you're basically saying, okay, listen, I think we're going to have a slowdown, and to prepare for that so that I can increase my number of units, I'm going to start going in on expireds, because houses are not selling as fast as they were in Richmond, Virginia. You think that they're going to start selling even slower. So there's a market there. And obviously there's people all over the world that make a ton of money listing expired listings and getting paid commissions on it. You know, we've had tons of them on this show. And then you're going to go into FSBOs too, where you're going to have people that, you know, may not be able to afford the commission or may not want to pay or what have you, but you're going to go into that too. So you're basically taking a strategic stance of digging in some other wells, right? Rather than using the traditional wells you've used.
Real Estate Rockstars. This is a commercial break from our podcast sponsor, Housefolios. We're in real estate to find the next big deal, right? We want to find the deal, make money, and then turn around and do it all over again. But it can be frustrating having to search through thousands of properties trying to find that Goldilocks property that is just right for your investment goals. That's why we're here to tell you about Housefolios. Housefolios is a management software for single-family home investors that makes it simple to find good deals, get financing, and manage your property portfolios all from one platform. They're an all-in-one app that lets you easily search for properties, both listed and unlisted, analyze numbers based on your specific assumptions, and provide resources to get you through underwriting and closing. And this is a feature we like most. You can track your numbers at multiple levels. Want to see the returns on the specific property in seconds? Check. How about an entire portfolio of properties you're looking to buy? Check. And then being able to present these properties to investors to become the go-to real estate agent for their investment needs. How awesome is that? Managing your investment properties has never been easier. The best part, it's affordable. Plans start at just $29 a month, $29 to unlock the tools to manage your entire investing cycle all in one place. Check it out at housefolios.com. And if that's not enough, Housefolios is giving our listeners a special rate on an entire year of Housefolios, just $99. So instead of $29 a month, $99 for the year, head on over to housefolios.com/RE Rockstars to sign up. Again, head over to housefolios.com/RE Rockstars to get an entire year of Housefolios for only $99.
Not because of the market slowdown. I'm not so. The only thing I'm doing, and by the way, Pat, this Gary Keller said the same thing this year at Mastermind, that we have reached the top of this bubble that the Federal Reserve has created. So we're on a downtrend nationally already. So this is not Clayton Gits. This is somebody that has a very large international real estate company. So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So what I do personally is I don't carry debt. And we talked about this on our last call. I paid my house off last year. And you want to talk about leverage. For the people that are listening to this call, you pay off all of your debt and you have a significant income, it changes everything.
No,
everything.
Right. Yeah, and it probably makes you actually more of a risk taker in your business because you're like, hey, I don't care. It's not like I have to be desperate. So let me try to leverage it so I could spend more time with my daughters and see what happens. And lo and behold, when you leverage it, you make more money, you do more sales.
Exactly. Because all of a sudden, when you're not working 7 days a week or whatever, with clients, and you're not in that grind, you have time to actually work on the business. And I will tell you, it's pretty ugly when you open up the hood when you haven't checked the oil in 10 years, but how powerful that is when you actually have 4 or 5 days a week to work on the business instead of in it. And with no debt.
Right.
And with no debt. And you want to talk about living from abundance instead of scarcity. And that, so just to kind of catch you up, Pat, we're rebranding entirely, and Mission Realty, Real Estate with a Purpose, is our new brand, and it has everything to do with living from abundance and giving back to this amazing industry that has given us all so much. So
tell me about that. How's that going to work?
Well, so we're partnering with 3 local organizations to, it's multi-tiered or multifaceted, but our giving arm is a percentage of every home that we sell is going to go back to, in the beginning, 3 organizations that we have chosen that are really having an impact in Richmond, Virginia. So that's where it starts.
Just to put some color in this black and white picture that you're painting. So what are the 3 organizations? What do they do?
Yep. So Caritas takes men, mostly men, but they have an arm for women as well, that are under the throes of some sort of addiction, drug, alcohol, whatever, that want help. And they have a whatever step program to get them clean and sober. Then they have a job training program. Once they're clean and sober, then they basically help them rebuild their lives. And then they train them on how to interview. They train them on how to get a job, on how to become productive citizens. So that's one organization. They're very well known in our market. Feed More is the second one. They're feeding hundreds of thousands of people. So we're going to get involved with them. And by the way, it's not just resources. One of the things I've struggled with is giving back of my time. So my team and I are going to get out there in the community, and we're going to get our hands dirty.
Nice.
And then the last organization is Massey Cancer, and that's because, as you know, I've had cancer twice, and they've been a big part of my recovery, and so we want to support what they're doing.
Okay.
As well.
So what percentage are you giving to them, to these, or to this pot of money that you're giving out?
I'm still trying to figure that. We're launching January 1. So I'm still trying to figure out that piece and how that's going to work. So I can't disclose that quite yet.
Yep.
But the vision, the ultimate vision, is to give people. Are you familiar with toms.com?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. So why not, if more organizations did what Tom's did and made giving a part of their culture, we could not only change a community, we could change our world. So, and so we made that a part of our culture. We made that a part of our core values. If we're going to spend 50, 60, sometimes 70 hours a week selling real estate, we are going to have an impact. I want my people to show up and be passionate, not only about selling homes and helping people, but about what's the outcome of that, right? What happens when we sell a property?
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Yeah.
We're changing lives in the community.
The culture of that will be amazing because, you'll have people writing you letters and you'll have, opportunities to meet with the people and to touch the people and to help the people and to hug the people. And
we can't wait.
I mean, it'll do some incredible culture building within your team. Yeah, that's really cool. I really like that. And I'm curious to see how that, I know how it'll pan out, but I'm curious to see what you end up doing and maybe you'll inspire other real estate agents. And I hope you will that are listening to this to do the same thing and not just kind of give a couple dollars each settlement and say, hey, I give to, XYZ company with every settlement, to make it a part of the culture like Tom's, where buy one pair of shoes and then a needy kid gets a second pair of shoes.
Well, yeah, and so it's more than that. They're not only getting shoes, right? They're actually providing water. They're providing shelter. I mean, so the sky's the limit once you get a significant enough of a population engaged, you can accomplish big things. So that's one layer, Pat. The other layer is, why aren't we developing our people to be better leaders?
Real Estate Rockstars, this is a commercial break from our biggest podcast sponsor we have right now, RentRedi. It can be fun getting a new real estate deal, but it can be tough managing your properties after the fact, especially if you're long distance investing or trying to manage multiple properties by yourself. That's why we're here to tell you about RentRedi. RentRedi is a property management software that not only makes it easier to manage all your real estate deals from one platform, but they also have the best customer service support in the biz. They're an all-in-one app that lets you easily manage properties, collect rent, list units, screen tenants, sign leases, all from your phone or computer. Imagine all of your real estate doors right in your pocket. How awesome is that? The best part is it's so affordable, one flat price for everything. Unlimited properties, tenants, and support with a real live human. And I have to add in there, that's a new business model that not a lot of people are doing. There's like this freemium model where people say, hey, you can try this, but as soon as you grow, it's going to cost you a lot of money. Or they kind of punish you when you get too many emails on your list or too many comments. They aren't going to punish you when you grow. They're not going to charge you more when you get 10, 20, 30 rentals. They're going to charge you the same when you have 2 or 3 as they will when you have 50 or 60. So you have a nice fixed cost, all software, all in one place. Check it out, RentRedi, RENTREDI.com. And if that's not enough, RentRedi is giving our listeners a special code you can use to get a whole year of RentRedi for just $54. Use code ROCKSTAR50, that's Rockstar50, and sign up for RentRedi's annual plan at rentredi.com. Again, RENTREDI.com with code Rockstar50 to get RentRedi for only $54.
Right, so I made the decision that I'm going to, no more scarcity in my life. Abundance. So we do personal development training every single Tuesday, and right now we're going through just an amazing Jim Rohn every week. Darren Hardy put this incredible thing together where it's like a 10, 12 week course, and I'm taking my team through it. And what I told all of them is, look, if I personally develop you out of my business, great. And that's abundance, right? That's abundance. Because what they're going to do is they're going to go change lives, because that's a part of our culture, and they're going to take that into another culture. Now, if they stay, they're going to grow, because we are introducing them to things that they've never been introduced to, Pat. Simple concepts that we've talked about before. If you will change, everything will change for you. If you want more, you must first become more. Learn to work harder on yourself. Then you do your job. That's an interesting thing for an employer to say to an employee, right?
Yeah, right. How many say that? I mean, how many employers say that to their team?
But it builds loyalty. It builds loyalty because they know that I care about them and their development and their growth.
So you're developing them, and you're also allowing them to have more fulfillment in their life. And I think a lot of the reason why people don't have fulfillment in their life is because they work too hard and they don't have time to give back. Everybody wants to give back. Everyone wants
Of course they do.
to help a charity.
Yes.
At the end of the day, you got a couple of kids and you got a full-time job. It's like, yeah, I don't got time. Maybe when I'm retired, I'll give back. So this allows them to give back now as part of their job.
Well, Pat, it's more than that. It allows them to start thinking about abundance. So it doesn't matter how much money you make, within reason, right? But $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year, if used properly, saved properly, can create a small fortune. That's a fact. But we're just buying all of this stuff and throwing away a lot of money, when in reality, and we're not thinking about our future. So this morning, for example, we talked about The Richest Man in Babylon and how they are all going to read that book because it will teach them how to be better stewards of their money.
Right.
And hopefully it will put them in position so they don't have to work for the rest of their lives, which is the reality for most people in this country.
And you're leading a great example to them by having your house paid off and by letting them know that your house is paid off, by making it public knowledge that your house is paid off, you know?
Yeah, I don't just preach. I mean, I really try hard to, and I am so far from being perfect. But I embrace failure because that's where my biggest lessons have been learned. But yeah, I really try to live what I've learned and what I talk about. And by putting it out there, Pat, we're more likely to do it because people hold us accountable to the things that we throw out there in the universe, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. If you go on a diet, you want to tell as many people as possible because then you're going to stick with it. Yeah, this is beautiful. Well, Clayton, listen, this has been a great show. You know, you and I can talk for days and days and get deep into stuff. So, you know, I welcome you back anytime. And I do want to hear about how it's going because I really do think you might be on to something. You might be able to start a wave, so to speak, and maybe middle of next year, let's talk again. I'd like to see how it's going, and I'd like to see if maybe we can get some other agents out there to have a similar model to yours where your profits are going back, like a Tom's or a Sevenly or any of these other companies are out there that are doing this.
Yeah, love to, Pat. Appreciate your time very much, man.
Okay, buddy. Have a great day.
You too. God bless.
All right, Real Estate Rockstars, this is Aaron Muchastegui jumping in again to thank you for listening to the show. Hopefully you guys loved listening to that one. And I want to make sure that you know about all of the extra resources that we have. And also, we need your help. They say podcasts are free. You get to listen to podcasts for free. But what is the cost of that podcast? I would say if I could beg you to pay anything for that podcast, I would say the cost of the podcast is going and giving a review. So whether you download it on Google or Apple or YouTube or anywhere else, please go give us a review. Say what you liked, what you didn't like. It helps us get better guests. The more reviews, the higher we get in the rankings. Right now, we are the biggest podcast out there for real estate agents, and we want to keep that spot because we know there's lots of podcasts out there. So go give us a review. Also, be sure to go to hibandigital.com. If you liked any of the resources that those real estate agents talked about, we've got a huge video vault of those resources for free. Every penny that comes on the podcast that we interview, they give us something that helps them get their deals or helps them work with their clients. And we put that in the toolbox in our vault for you. So go to hibandigital.com and you can get it. If you're looking for real estate education, go to rebusuniversity.com. We have all sorts of courses in there to help agents succeed in real estate. How to get the listing, how to negotiate deals, how to become an investor, all sorts of different stuff, rebusuniversity.com. And if you want to chat with me, go find me on Instagram. And if you come find me on Instagram, you can send me messages. Tell me what you want to hear. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like. We try to put a bunch of content out there too. You can find me in 2 different places. It's at RERrockstars.com for our Real Estate Rockstars page, or at aaronmuchastegui.com for my personal Instagram page, where I can chat with you about all sorts of different things. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again soon.